Welcome, everyone that is joining me live. For those that are watching this replay, the edited down version of my discussion of tonight's episode, join us every Sunday. We go live to have a watch party before the episode. We kind of have a little pregame, and then obviously we watch it live, first reactions, and then after that, we do an after show like we're doing tonight. So join us next week. But if not, thank you for watching this video. Hit the thumbs up, but more importantly, share your thoughts on tonight's episode. A lot of defined roles now for both sides of the party. Some losses on both sides. So let me know what you thought of the episode, and let me know in the comments below. So let's just jump right into it, man. Damon's essentially being haunted by his past. We open this episode with him having another vision where he's in the throne room, and we know for a lot of these characters, Damon included, the throne is something that sets him on a path of making good or bad decisions. But I like how this episode opens with him having this illusion, because this is where it all started, right? For this character and a lot of our characters, but Damon in particularly, the throne, and him and his brother, Viserys, and the decision he made to put Rhaenyra. We all know that was who was supposed to be on the throne, but it just stems from this, from him and his brother going for the throne, and obviously who his brother chose. And your brother didn't trust you, your brother didn't believe in you, your brother didn't give you the crown, and it destroys you from the inside out. And what haunts him is a decision his brother made. What haunts him is the lack of trust those like his brother and Rhaenyra has for him. We had a little bit of foreshadowing last week with Alice telling him, you're going to die here. But is this foreshadowing as well? That alliance might not be there. The betrayal might be there for Daemon against Rhaenyra, which, again, not being a book reader myself, is that the path that we're going down? Is this the foreshadowing? We talked about in episode 1 that there's a big resemblance between Adam and Alan to Corlys, and that was pretty much confirmed in this scene here. Corlys's bastard son foundation, they have love, they have care for one another, they have respect for one another, they have loyalty to one another. Well, I guess loyalty is enough to question now, because Corlys got 2 bastard kids. I don't know if he was married when this happened. Again, I don't know if this is all going to unravel itself this season. I would think so, but again, for those that are familiar with Alan and Adam, as someone, without giving too much away, as someone that isn't familiar with the whole backstory of them, can I anticipate to see them more? Are we going to get more of their situation? I also want you all to pay attention to the arrogance of Cole, the lack of, like I said, the honor, the lack of honor, to say, and just like him, I'm the hand of the king, living on cloud 9 right now, man. He's ruling with an iron fist, and he's ruling with fear, and it's just a matter of time. And whatever it is, beheading, eaten up by a dragon, throat slit, whatever the death of Cole is, I'm just counting the days. I hope he's not, if this show does go a full 4 seasons, I hope he's not a season 4 episode 10 survivor. I hope he's taken out sooner rather than later. We said it last week, whenever we talk about him, we all got to share the same sentiment when describing this crusty Cole.
Soft, overrated, pretty boy, a bitch.
Putting my alliance aside for Team Black, the payback from Aemon in this scene, and then we'll talk about it later, it's pretty satisfying. Go back and think about season 1, all the way back to when they were kids. Aegon has always been pestering his brother, has always embarrassed his brother, and listen, the payback tour is full in effect, and this is scene 1. Aemon takes it to a level where whenever you're speaking Valyrian, and I said it when I was doing the watch party, whenever you see certain characters speaking it, it's a matter of confidence, how they use it. You can tell that Aegon is someone that knows it, but isn't well versed in it. Like whenever we saw Rhaenyra and Daemon speaking, is very fluid, it's very confident with it. You can say the same thing about Aemon here, but Aegon's like kind of stumbling over his words, and he's not confident with his words, and that's his brother, even though the rest of the people in the room have no idea what they're saying, at least in my knowledge. I don't think any of them speak Valyrian, exclusively a Targaryen thing. They're just, kind of sitting there, but they can get the sense that there is a dominance, a shift in the power in the room, and that's Aemon telling his brother, sit down, pipe down, and just be the puppet that you are. Be the mascot that you are right now. This is a very important scene that just kind of sets the mood and sets the tone and lets us a little bit of an insight of what Aemon's doing with his payback tour. And again, putting my alliances aside with Team Black, I like this kind of kickback, the brother getting back at him from all those years. And we could even go back to last week's episode when he went into the brothel, his playback in this scene and much more a little bit later on. So again, I know we team black over here, and a lot of you all watching this on the live chat, but and watching the replay. But putting our alliance aside, I gotta admit, Eamon embarrassing his brother is something that I'm here for. The conversation being had here is, I think it's safe to assume. I don't think it's too far fetched to agree that Laris is very aware of Allison's relations to Cole. I'm pretty confident that he's very aware that they're having an affair, or not, I won't say affair, but having, previously had a relationship. At least I think there's going to be previous. I don't think there are going to be any more hookups in the future. But I love the supernatural, the unexplained, the unknown, and I believe her name is Alice. We were introduced to her last week, and I had no idea who this character was, but I said to myself, I'm very excited to see more of her, and we got that in tonight's episode. One that has an interesting backstory, and I think she even alludes to it in this scene as she's talking to Damon, who's kind of having a vision. I'm not sure if he was following himself, if that vision, whose hallucination was him, or I thought that was Eamon. From behind the way that they were walking, that looked like the actor Eamon, which I'm pretty confident there's going to be a duel between those two. From what I gather, is someone who is ageless. Like, people don't know if she's 40 or 400 years old. She's been in these halls of Harrenhal for a very long time. And as Damon calls her, I think she's a witch, y'all. I think it's pretty safe to assume she is a full-blown witch, the Melisandre of the show. Now, what does that mean for the show moving forward? Again, this whole side quest that Damon's on, I don't know if this is a pairing that we can see for the rest of the season. If it is this something that we bring to Dragonstone with Team Black? Having a little I don't know if she could be removed from Harrenhal. Like, it's one of those situations where Melisandre, when she removed that necklace, or that stone that she had on her, she reverted back to how, like, her actual age. I don't know if it's one of those situations where Alice, if she walks off of the grounds Harrenhal or walks out of the walls, like, she'll dissipate because of her age, and all her powers stem from within the walls. Like, again, I don't know if that's the supernatural element that we'll get into, but I like this character because I like supernatural things. Yeah, if we can have a fortune teller on our side to kind of predict how things play out, kind of have like our own Helena on our, because obviously no one listens to Helena on Team Green, but if we can get Alice on our side and kind of, predict some things that we can maybe prevent. I don't know if that's how that will work, or if she's even willing to do so. Disappointed, to say the least, that we didn't get screen time with, and that was Damon's wife. Really, like, very small scene that she had. But the regalness of this actress was fantastic. So I like that we got a little cameo. And once again, we saw young Rhaenyra. I think that was Aemon that he saw quickly in his visions walking down the halls. And now his ex-wife. More and more of these demons that we're going to see. Ooh, let me throw this out there. Viserys, does he see his brother in a vision? Because we know, again, he's addressing his past, his demons, regrets, mistakes. That would be awesome. That is the straw that broke the camel's back, they say. Again, no support from his people, no support from his brother. He's a joke. He's a mascot. He's just a fill-in mom who's been pretty much babying him throughout his entire life and taking his side for the most part. But I don't know if this is the after effects of the moon tea. Tell it like it is, man. And she told her son, "You are nothing." And like I said, for her son to hear that led him to making a pretty rash decision. She's at the point now where she's very much like Allison, where it's just like, I tried, and I love that she told them what she did, and it wasn't like a mystery. Like, she's just very blunt. Like, I tried to end this war. I want y'all to know that, but it failed. So now it's about that action. I'm not gonna have my enemies using my weakness, using my vulnerability as my kindness as weakness. So let's get active. But I tell you, when a character wants to meet their death, this is an example of that. Whenever someone volunteers, a beloved character volunteers to a mission, it's done. So mentally, I was preparing myself for something bad to happen with her, with a little bit of hope that she can maybe make it, But we'll get to that scene here. But yeah, this was the moment where I knew that it was probably gonna be a sad ending to come for this character. The big moment of the episode. So at this point in the episode, the idea is to go to this very small nest that's not a strategic outpost to have on your allies with Cole. Rhaenys comes, plowing out people, bam, bam, taking them out, easy, light work. This is like, a Tuesday for her. She's been to war. She's battle tested. She knows how to do things. This guy. Lo and behold, if we go back to episode 1 or 2, I can't remember. Remind me in the comments. Eamon and Cole discussing strategy moving forward, and this is essentially their discussion being had coming into fruition. We're going to use this nest as a decoy of us strategically trying to take over this area, but it's all a ploy to bring their dragons, or at least one of their dragons, to the forefront. And unfortunately, we took the bait. As Rhaenys is plowing out and that's the thing too. That's, I will say, the hype about this episode, that people that got to see it early were that this is a Battle of the Bastards level. I agree and disagree with it. From a disagreeing standpoint, we were on the ground, swords, horses, bloodshed, carnage left and right. And there was one moment in particular, and y'all know the moment I'm talking about. I showed y'all what my screensaver is. We clearly hope y'all can see that there. At that point in the episode, the one, the most noble, next to Ned Stark, Jon Snow was one of the more noble characters of that entire show, and we're like, wow, they're about to kill Jon Snow. He's going to die a noble death, kind of with his sword and going toe to toe with the enemies. And there was a moment of fear, but we all know how it happens. Sansa brings in the backup, and they take out Ramsay and his crew, and the rest is history. But the brutality and the visceralness of on the ground, to me, makes Battle of the Bastards level of the battle a little bit more tangible, grounded, literally. But the stakes were a little bit higher for me. I'm speaking for myself. It doesn't take away the epicness and what we'll talk about with this scene, but I think it didn't live up to the Battle of the Bastards for me, as far as just like on the scale of war and hand-to-hand combat. But this is what's the difference between Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. and I love the emphasis on Cole, in particular in this scene. It's another level of war when you have literally no control over what's in the air versus what's on the ground. And I don't like Cole. Y'all know that. Not a big fan of the character, in the sense of hate the character, but I like how the character brings that level to the show. Neither here nor there. He's battle tested, regardless of how I feel about him. But it's a different war when dragons are involved, and you see the looks on their face, and he thinks in his mind, and even in Aemon's mind, like, oh, we got strategy. We have the upper hand. The idea is to have one of their dragons come in where we take them out and get control of the air and the ground. But their plan is mucked up due to Aegon. As we know, we led up to this point. This whole episode has been a moment of him just coming to realization that he is not that guy that he thought he was, nor do people look at him in that way. He takes his dragon Sunfire, comes in, sees Rhaenys, Dracarys. She kind of ducks and dodges and maneuvers the situation. He thinks he has the upper hand. No. He misses, and the more battle-tested individual has the upper hand, which is Rhaenys. She has, her dragon, Meleys, has Sunfire, scratching them up, tearing them up. It's about to be fatality. Damn. When I tell y'all, the show has done a really good job. Like, yes, I wish there were more dragons involved in the show, more than what we've gotten so far. But there is a level of anticipation and a true level of fear whenever Vhagar is involved. I'll just speak for myself. I think the show has done a really good job of building the scale of Vhagar. Whenever Vhagar is on screen, and more importantly, whenever Vhagar is on screen with another character that we love, it brings fear to me. And the show has done a really good job of building that. It kind of draws, around the corner, could strike and take out your enemies with ease. Regardless of how I felt about the groundedness not being as visceral as Battle of the Bastards, the level of fear of how I felt about Jon Snow, but on the sky level, I felt that animosity, that fear, that scare, that nervousness for Rhaenys, because I knew it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And this is huge. Aemon sees his brother needs help, and Aegon himself is like, "Oh, brother, thank the gods, some you saved me." Nah, not this time. Aemon says, "Remember when we were kids? Yeah. You remember when you embarrassed me last week in front of my girl and the boys and the homies? Jakarts." I guess you can look at it a couple different ways, but I only see it one way. Collateral damage in a line of fire. He'll be okay. He could dodge it. My brother will be okay. Or he was going for the kill. He took the opportunity to kill his brother. He knows he's not the rightful heir to the throne. He's not the rightful king to the throne. And we'll get to if Aegon's alive or dead. I think he's alive, but we'll get to that here in a second. But that is a huge decision, because I think in the back of Aegon's head, I think he's always felt like his brother was going to betray him at some point, because he knows he's treated him terribly while they were growing up and even now. And he knows he's the more skilled warrior, the more noble person. So there's animosity between the brothers, no doubt. But this is the first time Aemon, besides embarrassing his brother earlier, but like taking action of like threatening his life, ending his life. I think, and let me know how y'all feel about this, I think Aemon intentionally, Jacaerys, his brother, knowing and hoping, and it kind of plays to his advantage. Like, oh, dragons, fire. He was in the way. I didn't mean to kill my brother. It has its own built-in excuse. If his what I think he was trying to do, which is kill a brother, it plays like that. The person on the ground who's most scared or shocked about the results of what just happened is the one and only Kristen Cole. At this point, he realizes, oh shit, I made a mistake. I thought that I can conceive a plan involving dragons. Level battle, like I said, is much different than air level with dragons. All that shift the dynamic. Like, there's not a lot of control that you have as a non-dragon rider to the dragons fighting your war. This is what Rhaenys was talking about. Whenever you get dragons involved, that's a whole nother level of war and combat. Aegon's off, thought to be dead or injured. Cole's checking on him. Rhaenys could leave. The path is set. She can go. She can go if she wanted. At least I think she could. I think she could have retreated, got reinforcements, live to fight another day. But we see that she doesn't do this. Instead, she goes back, looking for Vhagar. In my eyes, and correct me if I'm wrong, I took her going back. In my mind, this was her, because episode 1 of this season, and even last season, it was mentioned a couple times, but in particularly this season, remember the conversation that she had with Daemon when they were crossing paths, and he's like, go back out there, listen to me. He's like, I don't listen to you. You're not my king. He had questioned her. Could have ended this war before it even began, a la season 1. She could have took out all of Team Green with one word, but she didn't. So in my mind, this is her redemption. He comes out, bites the neck of Meleys. It killed her. And man, as her dragon went, she went, and she came crashing down, man. R.I.P. to a real one, bro. R.I.P. to a real one. Rhaenys, you will be missed. You will be missed. And like I mentioned earlier, for those watching live, out of the tapestry of all the deaths of Game of Thrones and now House of the Dragon, is Rhaenys and Meleys up there for you all emotionally? As far as the death, did it hit you to those levels of like a Ned Stark, Robb Stark, Catelyn Stark? The first time Jon Snow died, spoiler alert, he was brought back to life. Dany, is Rhaenys and Meleys, is it up there for y'all as far as moments to remember? Who, like I said, is pretty upset to find that his brother's still alive. As the picture shows, he is not a happy camper. Walks over to him, Cole, and he sees the king. I think he's alive. I think he's going to be like Darth Vader, a burnt up Chris. I don't know if he's going to be able to talk, walk. I don't know if he's going to be able to function. But we'll see. But I think he is alive. But what kind of life will he live moving forward? We'll see. But I think he will be alive next week. But what does that mean for the show moving forward? Has any remnants of comprehension, communication, My brother just tried to kill me. What does that mean for them? Team Green off with his head. Like, what does that dynamic look like? What does that mean for Allison and Cole? This was, you all got to remember, Aegon, no Aegon, Aemon. This was Cole's plan. I mean, hand the king back to Anna or Laris. Is this his opportunity? Who took the bigger loss tonight? Is a question I have for y'all. What grade would you give tonight's episode? As I wrap up, I'm giving this episode a 9 out of 10. I feel confident with that score. Didn't live up to the hype in my eyes, but very much so within the confines of the show. Very epic. Probably the most epic episode of the series thus far. I don't know what's going to happen at Sunfire. Like, I don't know if you can patch up a dragon. I don't know how that works. Like, is it like a wounded horse and you put it down? Like, I don't know. Because they might have lost a dragon. But even with that said, we 100% lost Rhaenys. We 100% lost Maylis. So I think Team Black took the biggest loss tonight. I will catch you guys later this week. Take care. Be safe. Peace out.